Welcome to today's lesson. Today's lesson is on probability. Now, let us start by looking at the definition of probability, and that happens to be the formula used in solving probability. And then we'll apply this formula in solving some simple questions. But before then, remember to subscribe, like, and share my videos. If you have any question, please feel free to use the comment section to put it there. And then if there's a topic you want me to teach in math, please also put it there. Now let's get right to business. We're looking at probability. What is probability? Like I said, it is the formula for using to solve probability questions, and that's what you see in your screen. Probability is the number of required outcomes divided by the number of possible outcomes. That is the simple definition, and that is a simple formula we use to solve probability questions. This means that the value of probability is never greater than 1. It is equal to or less than 1. And where probability does not exist, it is equal to 0. For example, if I ask you, in a fair die, what is the probability of picking a 2 if I roll a dice? But you want to think, a dice has 6 sides and has the number 2 just once in the die. So the probability of rolling a dice and you obtain a 2, it's 1 over 6. The 1 is the number 2. It appears just once, and that happens to be the number of required outcomes. And then the 6 is the number of sides the dice is having, and that happens to be the number of possible outcomes. Now let's try another example. If I roll a dice, what's the probability that I'll obtain a 4? Now, how many 4 do you have in a dice? It's just 1. So the answer will be 1 out of 6, or 1 over 6. If I roll a die, what's the probability that I will obtain a 6? It is 1 over 6. If I roll a dice, what is the probability that I will obtain an 8? Now here's a question. The number 8, does it appear in the dice? No, so it can never happen. So this means that the probability is equal to 0. So if something cannot happen, then the probability is 0. But if something can happen, the probability is 1. Now let's look at the example we have on the screen. Here we have Tunde and Samuel have played each other at tennis 15 times. Tunde has won 12 of the matches. They play each other in a championship. Now the question is, what is the probability that A, the match is drawn, B, Tunde wins, and C, either Tunde or Samuel wins? Now look at the question very well. You notice that Tunde and Samuel has played each other 15 times. And out of the 15 times they played, Tunde has won 12 of the matches. And what does that tell you? The question did not contain any question like draw, or did not mention anything like draw. It's either they win or they lose, each of them. So in this case, Tunde has won 12. That means, going by the question, we will know how many Samuel has won, and that's 3. So we are saying here now, based on the question, that Tunde has won 12 matches and Samuel has won 3 matches. No draw. So the question is asking now, what is the probability that the match is drawn? Well, in this question, if I'm going to answer, this is the solution. The A part of the question, the probability that it's drawn, it's 0. Why 0? Because in the 15 times they play themselves, it's either they have win or they have lost. There has never been any drawn. So which means the probability that they will draw, it is 0, based on this question. Now let's move to number B part of the question. Now the B part of the question says, what is the probability that Tunde wins? Now look at the question. How many times has Tunde win the match? Tunde has won 12 times. So that happens to be the required outcome. And what is the number of possible outcomes? The number of times they played each other? 15 times. So the probability that Tunde wins will be 12 out of 15. And 3 can divide to the 4. 3 can divide to the 5. So this gives you 4 out of 5. If you want to leave your answer in fraction, it's possible. It is 0.8. So you can see that your answer can never be greater than 1. Now let's look at the third part of the question, which is C. What's the probability that either Tunde or Samuel wins? Well, in this case, the answer is 1. Now, why do I say 1? Because it's either Tunde wins or Samuel wins. But now, if you're confused about how we got this one, there's another way to the question. Now, let me show you. First of all, what is the probability that Tunde will win? Remember, that's what we solved in question B. It was 4 over 5. So the probability that Tunde will win, it's 4 over 5. Now, what is the probability that Samuel will win? Well, remember, based on the question, if Tunde has won 12 times, it means that Samuel has won just 3 times. So it will be 3 out of 15. And this can be simplified to give you 1 out of 5. Now, what is the probability that Tunde wins? It's 4 over 5. Now the question says or. Now in probability, or is addition. Well, we're going to talk about that in the next video, the addition law of probability. But whenever you see this or in probability, it is plus the addition sign. Then somewhere it's 1 over 5. If you solve this fraction mathematically, it's going to be 4 plus 1, which gives you 5 out of 5. And when this cancel, the answer to the question, it's 1. Now let's look at another question. Question number 2. A letter is chosen at random from the alphabet. Find the probability that it is A, F, B, F, or T. C, one of the letters of the word frequency. And D, not one of the letters of the word table. Now let's start with A. Now remember, a letter is chosen at random from the alphabet. Now the letters of the English alphabet are 26, so which means a letter is chosen from A to Z. But now what's the probability that that letter chosen is F? That's the A part of the question. The probability that it is F will be, remember the formula, number of required outcome all over number of possible outcome. Now, how many F do you have in the letters of the English alphabet? It's 1, so that's the required outcome. And then, what is the possible outcome? The number of letters you have in the English alphabet? 26. Well, that's the solution to the question. Let's move to B. Now, what's the probability it is F or T? Now remember, we've gotten the probability that it is F. And I did mention that anytime you see the word or arrow or in probability, it means the addition sign or the addition law probability. And like I said, in the next video, I will talk more on the addition law of probability. So because it says the probability of selecting F is going to be 1 over 26 because there's just one F in the letters of the English alphabet and there are 26 letters of the English alphabet. Or addition, then the probability of picking a T is 1 over 26 also because there's just one T in the English letters of the alphabet. Now we divide, or we'll simplify this rather. This will be 1 plus 1, and since it is like fraction, divide 26. That gives you 2 out of 26. And 2 here 1, 2 here 13. So this is 1 out of 13. So that's the answer to the question. So we're going to the next question, which is the C. One of the letters of the word frequency. Now, let's look at the letters in the word frequency. How many letters do you have there? Now, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 letters. But let's look at the word frequency again. They are not actually 9 letters that make up the word frequency. Now, why do I say so? Because the letter E appears or occurs 2 times. And so because the letter E appears twice, you're going to count it once. So let's count again now. F occurs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me put the numbers on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to count this because I've counted it already. 6, 7, 8. So that's it. So we have 8 letters. So the probability that one of the letters of the word frequency will be 8 out of 26. If you simplify, 2 can divide to the 4, 2 can divide to the 13. That gives you 4 out of 13. I hope this makes sense. Now let's go to the last question on that, which is D. Now the D say not one of the letters of the word table. Now, the first thing we do is to find the probability that it is one of the letters of the word table. The probability that it is one of the letters of the word table, it's 5 out of 26. You know the reason why it's 5, because there are 5 letters that make up the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, take note, not one of the letters of the word table will be probability not table will be 1 minus 5 out of 26. And if you simplify this is the same thing as 26 minus 5 divided by 26, which gives you 21 out of 26. So this is the answer to the question, 21 out of 26. Now let's look at question number 3. Find the probability that a letter chosen at random from the alphabet is either a vowel or one of the letters. Well, as we know, there are 5 vowels of the English alphabet. The vowel letters are vowels A, E, I, O, U. So the probability that it's a vowel, we have 5 letters that make up the vowel, 5 out of 26. Then the probability that it's one of the letters X, Y, Z will be 3 out of 26, because there are 3 letters here. So the probability that it is a vowel or X, Y, Z is going to be 5 out of 26 because of this word or addition, 3 out of 26. If you simplify this, you're going to have 5 plus 3, which gives you 8 out of 26. So this is the answer to the question. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, like the video, and share. If there's a topic you want me to teach, put it in the comment section. If you have a question, put it there. See you in the next video. The next video is about the addition and multiplication law of probabilities. We're going to learn details, how to apply them.